Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanna. Nice to meet you if we have not met yet. On today's video, I want to go ahead and tell you guys some tips that could help you save money. All of these things that I'm going to mention are things that I actually do myself, that I have done, and that I continue to do that I feel has been helpful for me. So I thought it would be great if I went ahead and shared them with you guys. So I went ahead and wrote a few notes down here so I can kind of keep track of the things that I want to touch on. Basically, I don't want to forget one of the tips that I want to give you guys. I thought this would be a great time to go ahead and do this type of video. Honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't need to be January in order for you to start trying to save money for yourself or try to save money that's going towards something. For example, Christmas presents, a vacation, an emergency fund. You can start at any time, so don't let a certain time frame keep you from actually starting to do something. At the end of the day, the best time to start is right now, so just go ahead and do it. So whatever time of the year that you're watching this right now, it's fine. 100% perfectly, amazingly fine. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with the first tip. And the first one that I have for you is to save all your change. So I know a lot of us don't like carrying around change. It's not fun. I don't know what your reason may be, but I know several people that really don't like to carry their change. They'll either leave it on the counter, or if it falls on the floor, they just let it be and they don't pick it up. If that's you, cool. I'm usually that person where like, let's say I'm with someone, there's a specific person in my mind that doesn't like change. So what I usually do is when I'm out with him and, you know, he pays with cash and he gets change back, I know he doesn't want it. He's like, I don't want this change. And I just say, don't worry, I got you. Let me take that change off of your hands. And he gives me his change and he doesn't care for it. So at the end of the day, cool, it's going to be for me, 75 cents. That's not a lot, but it is something. At the end of the day, it is something. And if you really think about it, if you keep collecting all that change that you ignore and that you normally don't want and you just let it be and just, I don't know where it goes, it disappears. What would have happened if you actually kept all that change throughout the years? It would have collected and it would have added up into a better number that you'd be like, oh, whoa, okay, yeah. $20 is something, $50 is something, $75, $100. I could have paid my bill with all that change. You know, if that makes sense. To give you more of a visual, so at the end of the day, I would suggest keep your change, get a designated object, get a designated vase, bowl, box, whatever you have laying around your house, and just start putting it all in one spot and start collecting it. And at the end of the year, kind of see how much you've accumulated, how much you've actually saved at the end of the day. And if it is a good amount that you are actually happy with, that you're like, whoa, I didn't know I can save this much by just saving my change, you might be inclined to do it the following year and continue doing it moving on forward. So for example, I have this vase here. I have no idea how much I have in here, and I'm actually really curious to count it, so I'm probably going to do that. So you can just get any vase. I also have a mason jar. You can get a mason jar from the dollar store. Maybe you have one at home. You don't have to go out and spend money on saving money, if that makes sense. Just think about it, keep it, put it in your purse, put it in your pocket. When you get home, just put it in that jar and then forget about it. And another thing too, if you really think about it, if there was $5 cash, like a $5 bill right here, and then there were $5 in coins, in quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies, which one would you be more inclined to use and spend? You would be more inclined to spend the $5 bill as opposed to the change, correct? So that's another form that you'll actually prevent from spending. So by you having the change and the coins, you probably won't even look at it again. So whenever you're ready, if it's full or you're ready to use it on whatever it is you were saving, you can go ahead and take the money, go to one of those machines that counts all your coins and then gives you cash. Then you can go ahead and do as you will with it, whether it's saving it for the future, putting it in your savings account, or spending it towards that goal you had on saving money towards Christmas presents or vacation or whatever it is that you decide to save for. The second tip or the second suggestion that I have for you is to pre-plan your meals. So if you go grocery shopping, if you buy your own food, I would suggest going ahead and making a list, whether it's on your notepad, whether it's on your notes app on your phone, or whether you are so good with remembering everything that you can mentally make yourself notes in your head to know what it is you're going to buy at the grocery store. Whatever helps you. At the end of the day, I would suggest having an idea of what you will be eating that week. Let's say you go shopping weekly that week, so that way when you go to the store, you're not overspending. You're not going ahead and buying something that you don't necessarily need, and then you take it home. I'm not saying you 100% have to know exactly what you're going to get if that's not the type of person you are, but I would just suggest you kind of get an idea of what you will want to be eating that week. That's because I wouldn't want you to go ahead and overspend and buy more things than you needed to, and it's just sitting in the fridge, it goes to waste, it's no longer good, you have to throw it in the trash. So at the end of the day, you're wasting food and you have wasted your money. I guess it's a two-part thing when it comes to this tip. That's the first tip, to kind of pre-plan what you're going to buy, what ingredients you're going to need, and going ahead and purchase those things. The second thing is when you go grocery shopping, don't go when you are hungry. That is probably the worst time for you to go grocery shopping. I'm telling you this from my experience. When I'm hungry and I go to a grocery store, that is not good for me because I want everything, and I start putting things in the cart that I normally wouldn't put. I see those Oreos that I normally don't purchase, but all of a sudden I'm like, I really want those double stuffed Oreos. And then sometimes I'm inclined to purchase it. Not a lot. It's happened. I'm admitting it, it has happened. But at the end of the day, that's what I've noticed. And then I go home and then I eat because I'm hungry. And once I'm settled, I'm comfortable, and I'm no longer hungry, I'm thinking to myself, I didn't need to buy half of the stuff that I purchased, right? So that's something that I've learned and that I've tried to avoid. Don't go when I'm hungry. So the best time to go is when you have just eaten or you're content that you're not hungry yet. That's the best time to go shopping for yourself, because then you're more focused on getting the things that you know you need, as opposed to you're so hungry that you're literally shopping for yourself to go ahead and have a feast at home, when in reality you're not going to eat all of those things. So yes, don't go when you're hungry, and try to pre-plan what it is that you want to purchase from the grocery store. The next tip I have for you guys is think about this question. So when you're at the store and you want to buy something, or you're online and you're doing, your online shopping, you can't help it. Ask yourself this: do I need this or do I want it? So if your answer is that you want it, then you need to ask yourself, will I be fine and okay if I don't get it? Or will it be bothering me and it's constantly going to be in my head that I still want to purchase that specific product? So if you come to realization that, I mean, it's cute, but I know I'll forget about it in a day or two and it's gonna be out of my mind. So at the end of the day, if you don't need it and you don't want it as bad, or you know that you'll forget about it in a few days, you may really want it at that moment, but you know it's another shirt, it's gonna be fine, then maybe leave that shirt behind and don't purchase it. If it's something, for instance, I've really been looking for a flannel for quite some time and I have not found the right flannel that I really love. But I actually found one that I really like on this website, so I really want it. Then I would say go for it. That happened to me. I've been having a flannel for a long time, but then now it's old and it has a rip, so I've been in search for a flannel and I finally found one after I don't even know how long. But I didn't go ahead and settle in and then just buy any old flannel, and then when I found a better one, I bought that better one. So making two purchases. No, I just waited, and then whenever I found that specific flannel that I actually really liked, I went ahead and purchased it. And obviously savings are good too, so if it's on sale and all that stuff. But yeah, that's my tip for you, to ask yourself those questions. Do I need it? Do I want it? I want it. Do I really want it, that it's going to bother me that I don't get it? Or am I okay and in a few days I'm going to forget about it? So once you kind of answer those questions for yourself, you really know whether or not it's a good idea or not so good idea to purchase it. I'm not saying it's a bad idea to purchase something, but I'm just saying, would you rather keep those $50 and then forget about that specific product that you know you will forget about, or spending those $50 on that specific product, being happy with it, and knowing that it was worth your money? So that's kind of the thought process that I'm thinking about. That's what I do for myself. That's literally what I do when I'm at the store. I'll literally put things in the cart and then I'm like, wait, but do I really need it? And then I honestly end up not purchasing it, or maybe I'll purchase like one thing. But that's just me, okay? So everyone's different. That's just me. Okay, so next I would say to go ahead and give yourself a goal. So when I'm talking about give yourself a goal, I'm talking about giving yourself a number, how much you want to save in a specific amount of time. So for example, I want to save $1,000 in 12 months. So again, I would divide 1,000 by 12 to know how much money I want to save, or I need to save each month in order for me to reach my goal. By having those two set answers, by knowing the amount and knowing by when, you kind of know, okay, this is what I have to do in order for me to reach my goal. As opposed to just saying, I want to save money. And then you're trying to, but then you may feel lost, or you forget, or you stop. And then you don't really have that end goal or have that ideal number in your head that you want to save. You're just saying, I want to save money and let's see how it goes. I feel like it might be a little more beneficial or helpful if you kind of break it down and really tell yourself, okay, this is how much I want to save and this is by when I want to save it. So I would go ahead and suggest you try that out. I mean, I've done both before. I'm going to save money and I just do it, and then at the end I'll see how much I saved in the end. I also feel like it is very helpful if you go ahead and give yourself that timeline and give yourself that goal, that number. Don't go ahead and say, I'm gonna save $1 million, and when in reality you know it's not as easily reachable. Stick to a number that you feel like you're kind of comfortable with, but don't be afraid to go a little higher than what you're comfortable with to kind of give yourself that challenge, because you never know, it could be possible if you cut down on certain things, so you can go ahead and save it instead. Instead of going ahead and spending $100 on that specific store that you know you normally spend on, but it's not necessary, maybe you'll cut down to 50 or 75 and then you save the rest. Or whether it's you have so many subscriptions, so many streaming services, and you can go ahead and do without one, or there's one that you normally don't use. Go ahead and cancel that subscription, and instead of spending that money that you usually do on that subscription, go ahead and save it, and then it'll add up, it'll accumulate. Or you can go ahead and apply it to a bill, whatever it is that you would like to do. So that's something I would suggest. Go ahead and give yourself a goal on how much you want to spend and by when. And that kind of leads to the next tip. And I would say this. So if you have a bank account where your money goes to, right? If you don't have a savings account, I would suggest getting a savings account. That way you're able to separate the two. So you're able to see how much is in your checkings and how much is in your savings, and try to not touch your savings. Unless obviously things happen that you may need to. But try to separate them so you can get a visualization of how much you really have saved. Because you can go ahead and put it all together, have your checkings, the money that you use on a regular basis for your bills, etc. And then have your savings with it too. But then it's all mixed in that you see that number and you're like, oh, that's how much money I have. But then you kind of have to think about separating the savings and saying to yourself, no, I can't touch that money. That's not for me to use right now. Just by having that and then seeing the number go up in your savings, you get to see your progress, and that might also motivate you to keep going because you see that change, you see that progress, you see that growth. That's something I would suggest that you try to do if you don't have a savings yet. So the next tip, I feel like that's how I usually intro every single I'm sorry. Okay, but let me see, what else can I say? The next thing I have for you is try to use cash more and try to use your card less. If you're that type of person that normally uses your card to pay for everything, and let me tell you, you're not alone. So for me, I tend to use my card quite often. But what I started doing last year, starting to implement using cash a little more. Not as much as my card, if I'm being honest. But at the end of the day, I still carried some cash in my wallet. I'm not rich, so don't come at me thinking that I am balling and in my purse that there's a lot of money. There is not. But I'm just saying, having even $20, $30 in your wallet, when you go shopping, when you see that cash, tell me what you think about this, guys. Personally, for me, if I see my card and I see cash, it's harder for me to give my cash away. With my card, it's so much easier for me to swipe, for me to insert that chip, for me to go ahead and make that purchase. Because yes, obviously the card is a form of money you're paying. It's acceptable, obviously, yes. But at the end of the day, you don't actually see your money right there. So it makes it so much easier for you to make that purchase, for you to buy certain things, as opposed to just carrying cash. Let's say you were just carrying cash. Then you would kind of be like, do I really need it? Maybe not. So then you don't buy it. So that's what I realized with myself. It's when I'm using my cash, I'm really using it cautiously and I'm not just giving it away. At least for me, that's my personal experience. So I would suggest, if you normally don't pay with cash, try it out and see how you feel when you're paying with cash versus card. Maybe you have the same feeling. It's the same thing for you. And it doesn't hurt to have a little bit just for emergencies, just because you never know. Let's say you lost your card or you left it behind and then you need a certain amount of money. Hopefully not. But yeah, that's my suggestion for you. The last thing I have for you is to keep track of what you're spending. I know. Sometimes you don't even want to look at your card statement. I know, I understand. You don't want to look at your activity, your recent purchases, because then you're going to see all the numbers, you're going to see what you spent it on. And you just want to say, it's done, it's over, I did it, let's move on. I get it. But if you really look at your statement, or you're really keeping track of what you're spending, you get more of a visualization on where your money is going. And when you see that, sometimes you don't even know at the time until you look at it that you're spending more than you thought you were spending on that specific thing, or you didn't even realize how much you're actually spending on a monthly basis. There's so many things that you can go ahead and realize when you go ahead and visualize and see what you're spending your money on. So for instance, if I go ahead and look at my bank statement and most of the things I'm looking at is food, and that's happened to me, that I love food and I love going out to eat. So I know a good portion of my money goes to food. So when I actually visually see all the purchases that I've made with food, I start to think, wow, I would have saved money if I ate in a little more that month. And then that's when I tell myself, okay, you know what, next month I'm actually gonna eat at home a little more than usual to try to save. Because at the end of the day, if you cook your meals at home and you're eating at home, in the long run, you're actually saving money instead of going out and purchasing a $10 meal, $12 meal, $8 meal. It all adds up. Yeah, that's my tip for you. Go ahead, look at it. I know you don't want to, but do it, because at the end of the day, you might thank yourself later and you might realize, whoa, I'm spending way too much on that. So everything is up to you. Everything is your decision. You can go ahead and decide where you want to cut things off and where you want to manage your money. So this is it. That's all the tips that I have for you guys today. If you would like to know more of the tips and things that I do to save money, go ahead and let me know by commenting down below, liking this video. And if you'd like, subscribe down below. I would love it. But yes, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you 102%. And yeah, so until next time, until the next video, bye guys. Mwah.